Hello, beautiful people. Happy Saturday. I hope you are blessed and doing well. So, there are some updates, not like material updates, but there are some slight updates in the Shanquella Robinson case. In particular, Shanquella's father has done a recent interview with Grio's exclusive interview with Grio. And during this interview, he shed light at least on his awareness that the CABO Six is out here living their best life, or living free. And that could be very sad and heartbreaking for a father to have to see that and witness that, seeing someone who took his child away from him, mind you, his only child that he's ever had away from him. And he has to see this. He did a pretty long 40-minute interview, so I'm only going to play some parts of it. If you want to watch the entire interview, I will add a link to the description box so you can watch the entire thing, or I'll actually put it in the chat or something like that for later. But I just want to play some parts of the interview. All right, so let's get started with that. And then also, we have some pretty good news. The North Carolina governor has come out and spoke. And I find that to be very amazing, because when you have the governor speaking about a case, that means this case has influence and it is prioritized. Meaning, it will, although it's going to take a while because of the extradition process, the governor is now involved. The governor is now advocating for justice. So there's pressure. There's a lot of pressure in high places, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. The fact that the governor came out and spoke about Shanquella Robinson's case, and mind you, our presidents or governors, they don't speak about every single criminal case that's out there. So the fact that this case was significant enough and magnificent enough for the governor to step in and give a response to hope for justice, that is his advocacy, and the pressure is now on the FBI. That's very good to see that. So I was very, very excited to see that. That's amazing news for Shanquella's family. Even though it's a slight, it's not, even though it's not, they're not hearing that someone's being arrested right now. We still have to wait for that process. The fact that the governor has come out and spoke, guys, is amazing. I'm telling you, the governor obviously is advocating for Shanquella's justice. He is involved in this. So I think this is incredible. So let's hear from Shanquella's father, just briefly.
So, they back over here walking around. Janine called, give me an ace of Mr. Robinson, we sorry. The parents ain't even try to track me down. And he say, Mr. Robinson, we sorry about your daughter. They still got their daughters and sons. They out here walking around doing video. But that's okay, man. It's all good.
Man, that's sad. Did you hear that they said that they out here walking around doing videos? The only person I know of doing some videos, he's referring to Nazir Wiggins, y'all, allegedly. I believe he's referring to Nazir Wiggins because we just saw that recent video of Nazir out here with a pistol in his like in his little waistband area over here, lifted up his shirt to try to show everybody in the world that he has a little weak pistol if somebody tries to step to him, knowing he's scared out of his mind. But I still find that, quite interesting. The father has to sit back and watch this. It's like Nazir is laughing in this grieving father's face. Another thing that he points out is that the parent hasn't called to show condolences. And something that I pointed out in my prior video, when I was referring to Nazir and his mother, they claim up and down that Nazir is not a part of the CABO sickos, that he is innocent, he wasn't there at the time, la, 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 right? But his behavior is acting like the CABO Six. He's acting like he is guilty. He has not reached out to this father. This father is talking about how they haven't reached out. He's also acknowledging that he lives in the same town as some of these people. So he has to see these people, guys, just roaming free, like literally laughing in their face. I mean, yeah, they're laughing now, but justice will come. It's slow because, like I said, the extradition process does take time. You'll have to watch my extradition video because I go over the exact process of how, an extradition goes in the United States. And that's the reason why it's taking some time. But the fact that this father, though, while he's grieving, he has to go around seeing these people doing videos, living their best life. We had Elise over there allegedly at her job with her Mercedes Benz, her little LV purse, just living lavish. Where's she getting all this money from? That's the question I have. Because she needs to be saving that money for a lawyer because she gonna need a lawyer. So I don't know how she over here living lavish with all that money. Okay, she need to save that money. But notice some of the attire the father's wearing, man. This poor father's grieving. He's got the Justice for Shanquella mask on. And then if you look at his shirt towards I would say our right, he has a little photo of Shanquella on his shirt. I just find that so beautiful. It's like he's advocating for her day and night. But also I find really sad about this interview is that when he used to go to work, Shanquella used to call him up every morning, every night, and check on him, guys, to see how he's doing. She would say, "How are you doing, Daddy? You okay?" And he talks about how he never is going to get those calls again. That was so sad. I literally dropped what I was doing and almost cried. And I was like, "Oh man, I'll call you, Mr. Bernard, and I'll ask how you're doing because that's sad." Like he doesn't have his little girl call to see if he's safe because he's a truck driver. So I know it meant a lot to him to hear from his little girl to call and see how he's doing, to check on him, see if he's safe. And he doesn't get to get those calls anymore. That sucks, man. That's messed up. Hopefully it comes up in this recording, guys, because I skipped a lot of it. But let's see. I'll try to play some more to see if we get to that part. But that part took me out, guys. Oh my God.
But this whole world, this whole nation, God grace and how strong my faith is. Everybody gonna get justice. The clock is ticking. I'm a very patient man, very patient. My faith is in God very strong, but I'm just waiting on him. Just waiting on him. Like I tell you, every day is a struggle. I cry every day, not knowing that I can't hear a voice. You know, only thing I can look at videos, pictures. Uh, it just hurt. And she would have been turning 20. She would have been turning 26 next month. Yeah, January the 9th. She would have been turning 26. Man.
Dang, man, guys, this is sad. His little girl's birthday, her birthday's next month, January 9th. She would be 26. And now on that day, he has to realize she's not going to be here. And he cries every day. This is so, look, he can barely get the words out. He's crying right now. This is so sad to see this poor father suffer his only little girl. And the more traumatizing thing about it is while he's grieving, these CABO 6 people out here just living lavish, apparently, and sitting here laughing and stuff like this is a joke. This isn't a joke. Nazir in particular, because Nazir is the one getting on my last nerve with this constant smiling and laughing like it's a game. There's people mourning right now, and he's over here having fun and got a whole female in the video, y'all. A whole female he dating, bringing her lunch and everything, just all online, thinking this is a joke.
Make memories with our holiday supplies, decor, and more. Make the holidays with Michaels.
Thank you so much for taking the time with us. I know you've been through so much, and I can't. My condolences to you. I'm praying World knows her. We
behind for you to have these things. You can't make these grades and keep these grades up, you're not gonna get these things. And then I always tell her, you go to school is just like a job. You go to school to make good grades, because one day you ain't gonna be going to school no more. So sooner or later, when you get out, you'll be able to, do what you need to do to get get a good, decent job where you can, provide on your own. You don't need a man to provide on, take care of you. Because as long as your dad is living, your dad gonna be right there. I'm gonna be right there for you. I'm gonna tell you when you're
that's a
wrong.
beautiful
You know,
that's a beautiful thing, sir. I mean, you must have been so proud of her.
Yeah, I was very proud of her, sir. Like I say, I went through some obstacle course, making sure she stayed on track, going to the teacher conference and, making sure she got her projects in, making sure she got her homework in when they weren't turned in, when they weren't turned in when they're supposed to be turned in. Now, we're not doing this right here. You go to school to learn. You don't go to school to be fashion and all that. It's good and nice that you dress in this kind of way, but still at the same time, you're going to have action behind your words. My philosophy, I always say what you mean and mean what you say. I'm just, I'm just real. I'm a people person, making sure John C. Smith, I just drove, like I was telling the other lady, I drove for John C. Smith part time, making sure, drove for the cheerleader, transporting the teams around, and I drove for Miss Peggy Lyle. She was the cheerleader coach. And I treat all her girls like they were mine. I make sure the mothers and their mothers and fathers know they can sleep good at night while their daughter is up on that campus and we traveling, going back and forth, that their daughter's gonna be safe, coming back and forth. A leader. I always taught her to be a leader, not a follower, you know.
Sounds like you raised her so well, and I can hear the pain in your voice from everything you've been going through. I mean, it's unimaginable. Where were you when you first heard the tragic news that she had died?
Right here at home. Right here, I'm sitting in the living room looking at TV. I just came off the road. I'm a local truck driver, I drive at night. And she always would call and say, "Dad, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine." And, it was on a Wednesday, she said, "Dad, you sleep." She came in the house to get something because, she got her own apartment, doing her own thing. She said, "Dad, you sleep?" I said, "Yeah, because I got to go down the road in a little bit, She said, "Call me." And I called her, and she didn't answer. So I said, "Okay, then she must be busy doing her braiding hair or something." So I guess I talked to her later on. And then once that Saturday came, that's when I got the phone call, saying she had passed away down in Mexico, CABO. So I broke down and started crying.
Oh my gosh, guys, that's so sad. I heard that she used to call him to check on him, see how he's doing. And then when he tried to call her back this time, no answer. That is sad. Man, this man is going to be empty for the rest of his life. It's like, that's his only little girl. Imagine. She's the one that calls and checks on him to see how he's doing when he's on these long trips on the road. And now, the very last time that she calls him, he doesn't get to speak to her. And when he tries to call her back, no answer. And that's the last time he ever gets to speak to her again. That is so sad, man. This is just, guys, man. And he has to sit there and watch these CABO 6 out here living their best life, mocking this man's misery. Because it's like, you got Nazir, for example, out here just smiling and laughing like it's a game. It's like, come on. And these employers are not standing up for justice in this case. I mean, I get it that everyone's innocent until proven guilty. I understand that. But she is one of the possible suspects in this case. So how is Elise still working around caring for patients? A certified nursing assistant. But she couldn't care for Shanquella when Shanquella was about to pass away. What did she do? Did she render aid? I highly doubt it. So it's like, how could you trust this woman to care for patients when she couldn't even care for a patient that was right in front of her, almost about to pass away, or probably did, on the verge of passing away. Make it make sense.
You know, mom told me, you know, it was alcohol poisoning. I said, nah, I'm not going for that. I ain't going for the alcohol poisoning. I said, God.
You didn't believe it. Why when they said alcohol poisoning, why did you not believe it?
That's not her. That's not her. That's not her, sir. I mean, that's not her. She might drink a little bit or whatever, you know how kids do, still trying to find feeling their way because they're young, you know. She might drink a little bit, but alcohol poisoning, sir, nah, that wasn't her. No, I just know that, nah, that ain't her style.
Wow.
She ain't gonna just sit around and just drink herself like that, sir. No.
So, but you were told that by the people she was on the trip with, right?
Right, which I don't even know them. Never met.
I was going to ask you. You didn't know. Did she talk about them, and did you have any connection to any of these people that she was on the trip with?
No connection whatsoever. I don't think I knew that she went to college with them. She went to college with them. They ain't never met them at all. All this was new to me. The names stopped popping up. Who is this and that? I ain't know nothing.
One thing to point out about what he just said was that no, from the very beginning, when they tried to lie and say she died of alcohol poisoning, he already dismissed that as a lie because he knows his child. He knows his daughter, and he knows that's not how she rolls. She doesn't just go around drinking herself to sickness. So that's one key thing I think he really pointed out. But let's keep going because I hope there's a part I'm trying to get to where he talks about the autopsy, and there's a key thing that he says that the coroner told him about the presence or lack thereof of alcohol. So that was a key thing I noticed in this interview too. But a parent knows their child. And so they try to come with this little lie that Shanquella was out here drinking herself to death. This father already knew it was a lie from the beginning. He didn't even have to see his daughter's body to know it was a lie. So that was a key thing. And another thing I think this can teach us is parents need to try to know who their friends are. This is what Bernard talks about in this interview. He says one thing he wants to advise parents is knowing who your kids are hanging out with, what their intentions are with your kids, because there's people out here that are just jealous, and it's very prevalent in our community now. You can't really trust people these days. Friends are not really friends these days. They're secretly jealous and wishing for your downfall. So I think this interview, he pointed out some key things in this recent interview.
I know. Only thing I knew, she passed, and that following Monday, sitting over at my mom's house like I'm sitting right now at the table. Dialing phone numbers over to the embassy suite, trying to get through, seeing where she was over there, you know?
Yeah.
Sitting over there trying to find her where she was. Like I told you, co-worker, you know.
And after you got that,
God showed me where my daughter at. Show me where my daughter. I dialed the phone number over there, Google it, dialed the phone number, and she was over at Riviera. It's a Riviera funeral home over there, and they had her body. The young lady picked the phone up, named Miss Elizabeth, Mexican lady, little young girl. She said, Miss Robinson, I got your daughter. She said, I'm sorry for her loss. Sorry for your loss. She said, Mr. Robinson, I have a father, and you sound like you. My dad sounds just like my daddy, caring and loving. She said, I'm going to stick with you until your daughter get back to you, to the United States soil. And she said, this is what I want you to do. I need you to fill out these paperwork. And once you fill out these paperwork, we can get all this done. And I'll tell you how much money you need to wire over here to the funeral home to bring her back here. And that's what I did, sir.
When they gave you the next bit of information, when you saw the report that said that it wasn't alcohol poisoning, but that there was actual trauma, and that there was an actual explanation that seemed to be from some kind of blow, you know, how did you make sense of that?
The funeral home, Brianna at Rosedale Funeral Home, and me and Miss Elizabeth, all three of us worked together. She talking to Brianna at the funeral home, and Brianna talking to me, relating back to me, and us three, getting everything together, the paperwork, because they had to transfer that Spanish over to English. And before she even got back here, I got on the phone. She called me. Elizabeth did, and I asked her, I said, Miss Elizabeth, what happened? I said, she got alcohol poisoning in her system. She said, no, Mr. Robinson. She said, they broke her neck and her spinal cord. And I told her mom. And I just started crying, I said, really? You got to be joking. She said, no, Mr. Robinson, there wasn't no alcohol in her system.
Exactly. This right here, this interview, he just confirmed he heard explicit communications from the coroner herself saying there was that means zero amount of alcohol in Shanquella's body. No alcohol. So for them to lie, this young lady wasn't even drinking. That is more than likely she woke up early in the morning. And he actually explicitly confirmed it. And then confirmed the direct cause, which was the neck and back injury. So that alone disqualifies this lie that they said, because we had the death certificate and we assumed that there was no alcohol in her system. We assumed that because it wasn't on the death certificate. But he has explicitly confirmed in this interview that the coroner herself called him up and said there was no alcohol in her system. None. Zero. Very important for this case because it completely discounts their lie, and it confirms that she didn't have any alcohol in her, so we know she wasn't intoxicated. So more than likely this happened to have happened in the morning. So those were the parts I wanted you guys to see of that interview. Very sad, very emotional interview. Very heartbreaking. Seeing, you could just see this father in complete agony and complete pain. It's so just sad to see him in this position. It seems like he's deteriorating more and more. But what I loved about the interview also was that he continued to give God glory and give God praise and say that he's just going to lean on God. What I also liked about him too is when this reporter was trying to ask him, like, was he disappointed with the investigation and how it's going? Him as a father, he could have easily threw the law enforcement under the bus right now and saying how disappointed he is and how it's taking so long. And I especially admired that he was very classy and he said, I'm not going to speak on that. I loved that because as a parent, any parent would be emotional and want to just completely just throw the FBI and everybody under the mud and say, they're taking too long. I can't stand them. And we've seen this in the Idaho 4 tragedy, which is understandable. Parents should, be angry when they're not hearing anything and it's taking a while. But I just really just admired this father's stance, just how classy he was. He could have, vented during the interview, but he was so classy and was just like, I'm just going to trust God. I'm not going to speak on that. I was like, wow, I've never seen a parent take that approach, but I found it quite very classy of him, very composed of him. And I just pray that he gets justice. And I really see this case being resolved and having justice because now we see some high officials involved in the conversation. The governor of North Carolina. When a criminal case gets to the governor, that is a case that they're prioritizing. And it makes me think he might know more than what he's saying. He says that he's hopeful for justice. So in my mind, he might have already been in communications and in talks with the executive branch, because the executive branch is the branch that controls and that navigates and decides ultimately whether a case is successfully approved for extradition, because of course it goes through the judicial system and the judge would make their determination during their limited hearing and appeal, and then it gets sent off finally to the Secretary of State. So the fact that the governor is speaking, that lends me to believe he's in conversations with some people in high places, either with the FBI, somebody in the executive branch. But He's involved. It's his citizen. He feels pressure to be involved in this. So when you have people, elected officials now speaking out on the case, guys, this case is going to be resolved. We're going to see justice. It's just we have to be patient. That's the thing. We have to be patient. So let's hear what he has to say.
Shanquella Robinson's family is in his thoughts. He spoke to Channel 9's government reporter Joe Bruno about her case, saying he's hopeful the FBI will get to the bottom of this mysterious death and find out what really happened.
Not knowing really what happened to your loved one, that has to be a cause of great concern. And I hope that federal officials and the FBI can work with the Mexican government to find out what happened to her.
Shanquella died while on vacation with friends in Mexico in late October.
So, guys, did you see that? The governor, the governor himself is speaking out. So that is pretty big news to me to see that. I mean, it's good enough to see, different high news and higher up news outlets such as Nancy Grace and ABC News and so forth. But when you see the governor speaking out, to me, that's amazing news, because he's obviously in the conversation now. He's speaking to the feds themselves. Okay. So let's read the article. It says, North Carolina governor hopeful feds will solve Shanquella Robinson's passing. Governor Roy Cooper said Friday that his thoughts are with the family of the Charlotte woman who passed away late October while on vacation with friends in Mexico. Cooper said he was hopeful that the FBI will solve the case of Shanquella Robinson's mysterious passing and find out what happened. Not only really what happened to your loved one, he said, not knowing really what happened to your loved one, that has to be a cause for great concern, Cooper told Channel 9 reporter Joe Bruno. And I am hopeful federal officials and the FBI can work together to find out what happened to her. Investigators in Mexico say an arrest warrant has been issued in the case, but no suspect was named. No one has been apprehended. Again, no one has been apprehended. I gotta say that again. I'm gonna play this video because some people out here, they still trying to push this little lie about people being apprehended. No one has been apprehended.
October. Investigators there say an arrest warrant has been issued in the case, but no suspect was named and no arrests have yet been made.
Make memories with our holiday supplies, decor, and
Exactly. No one has been apprehended. I don't know how many times we got to keep saying this, because we have so many people still trying to push this fake narrative that someone has been apprehended. So those are the updates in this case, guys. I'm feeling really happy right now that the governor is involved now and he is advocating for justice. And that should put some pressure in the higher ups to be like, we need to get this going. I mean, the fact that he is involved, that means he can actually, when we have elected officials in that higher position, they have power. They can go talk to the Secretary of State, call the Secretary of State on the phone and be like, hey, I need you to make sure this gets expedited and get that going. And the Secretary of State reach out to Department of Justice and reach out to the FBI. So he has power, guys. He has power. He has influence. So just seeing him speak out gave me so much hope and so much happiness. Although I already know that these type of processes take time, it's just good to see we have higher ups in the discussion now, y'all. Okay? In the discussion. Right. Hi, Kevin Scamuels. How are you? Kevin Scamuels says these criminals are going to pay because everyone knows what they did to that baby. Right. Exactly, Kevin Scamuels. They are. They are. Even though justice is slow, it will happen. I hope it will happen. All that laughing that, Nazir's doing, all that's going to come tumbling down with his little laughing self, laughing like this is a game. This is not a game. This is not a game, Nazir. Let's see if I can find that video for you again, y'all. He over here thinking it's cute. He think he cute out here. bringing his girlfriend lunch and everything, smiling. See where we can find that at, guys, because that just made me mad. And he over here bringing his girlfriend, and she's laughing too, so she thinks it's a game. That could have been you, Missy. You over here laughing. It's just like these people out here, our generation, guys, our generation is so messed up. I'm gonna get this video for y'all to show y'all what he doing over here. Now I already showed you guys this video, but I need to refresh y'all recollection because this man out here.
Don't start. Thank you for the
hands on deck. Yeah, man, I'm out here in Concord.
You aggravated. Don't start. Thank you for the
hands on deck. Yeah, man, I'm out here in Concord.
You aggravated. Don't start.
It's like this man is out here literally mocking Shanquella's passing, out here laughing like this is a game. It's not, because the father has to see this. He acknowledged in the interview that he knows they're out here free. They're over here making videos. That's what he said. So the videos I can remember and recall is Nazir out here making these videos and lives and he's one of the main people out here who has not even contacted the family, but he claims he's innocent. If you're so innocent, how come you and your mother has not showed condolences? But yet you have these fake social medias talking about you express your condolences online. That's fake. It's just for the gram. It's just for social media. That's all he's doing. That him and his mother, they're doing that for social media, for clicks and views. Chi-Chi said Nazir is a weirdo. He is acting like a weirdo. Oh my God, guys, it's sad. But guys, just imagine, put yourself in Bernard's shoes. He sees this. He has to see this too. With Nazir out here laughing, waving a pistol. It's like, my gosh, guys. Ron says, after viewing the unforgivable beating given by Dejanay Demon, allegedly, I would lose my morals to have stepped in to protect her from the senseless violence put upon her. I know that's the thing that I can't understand about this is how come Khalil didn't have the heart enough to step in to protect his friend? He claims up and down that this woman is his friend. She's his best friend that he's known for several years. And he didn't even step up and defend her. Period. He calls her the boss and all these things, but it was all lies. It's like this story right here, guys, it had me scared straight. Kevin Scamuel says, it made me feel ashamed to see our people act like that, especially on someone who was doing so well in life. Exactly, Kevin Scamuels. Exactly. Right. Ashamed of how our people act. Exactly how Kevin Scamuel said it. Our people sometimes don't want us to be great. When you're winning in life, they be the same one jumping on the bandwagon to hate on you or to try to wish for your downfall or to advocate for your downfall. Right. Chi-Chi said, I don't think street justice would be good for them. Too easy. They need to be handled by the law. I agree. They need to be handled by the law. Yeah, street justice ain't it. They need to be handled by the law because when they're, guys, that Mexico prison is no joke. That would be some good justice for them to be in the Mexican prison. It's no joke. I would rather they be in a Mexican prison than in the American prison, in my opinion. That's how I feel. But thanks, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the updates, about the governor now speaking out against the CABO 6, basically wishing for justice. And what do you think about Shanquella Robinson's father's recent interview? What is your take on his recent interview? I'm actually going to put that in the chat right now for you guys. Here is the link to that. So if you want to watch that full video, I don't know how it works. I just gave you guys the link. Oh no, does that work? Can you just click on it or something? Let me know. Anyways, I'll put it in my description box too, so you can watch the whole interview. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Take care.